What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Agrarian Skies. That's right. As I told you guys before, when on my next episode, I'm going to have a completely automated ore system. Um, but before that, check this out. You can enchant your jetpacks. I just found that out not too long before recording. So that's what I went ahead and did. And yes, as you can see, I've also got wireless access to my system. We'll show you that in a second. But let's take a look at this. Oh my. Not very big. I could probably even compact it down even more. But this is my completely automated ore refinery system. As you can see, it's putting gold and probably platinum or something in there. This one's silver right here. But it completely processes all your ores. Currently, as you can see, I have them coming in from a tesseract. So let's go take a look at that real quick. It's actually really simple. That's it. That's all it is right there. Everything that gets sieved comes right here. Um, I also have updated to what is it 3.0.1. So I have a bunch of new quests. Okay, a couple new quests here, and like learning Skyblock that I still have to do. Kill zombies, go to the Nether, ooh, and make an auto packager. We'll probably get into that a little later on another episode. This episode, all I want to really get into uh, before I get into my bees over there is the auto ore system. It actually does not take all that much to get going and running. The most expensive thing is going to be your tesseracts. For this specific system, okay, I only have one tesseract. Well, two tesseracts. I could probably condense that down to one if I so wanted to, but I don't. So this is the receiving end of the ores and whatever else I decide I want to send into my system from wherever. I can just hook it up to a tesseract. Yeah. Or set just to receive items only. This one is set for power. I could have used the tesseract I had up here for power, but again, why? If I have the ability to make them, I might as well make them. But okay, let's get to the heart of the system here. First, you'll actually have to teach your system. Let's go in here. Done a little organizing. And teach how to make gravel, sand, and the dust of all the ores that you get from El Ex Nino or whatever it is. And then I'm using the precision export buses. So even though my system knows how to make them, well, now that my system knows how to make them, I just put them right in here. I have all the gravels in here. It's set to move single items and craft if you need it. So this is going to be running at all times when I get the crushed of anything. 4 of the crushed ores. It'll automatically make it into a gravel, put it in here, then rinse and repeat for this one. For the sands, one thing to note, you will need 3 autonomous activators for this specifically, just to put the ores into, because you're always going to have one left over. Again, set to always on and move single item to craft. Inside, same thing as I had up there, just a vacuum hopper. It does get noisy, so I did put a sound muffler, as you can see, which is why you're not hearing anything, because I do got sound on, but that's muffling it right now. In these, I've taught it just how to make an iron hammer. Well, I've put an iron hammer in each of these, and also have gone over and taught my system how to craft it. Let's see, which page is it on? Yeah, right here. You know, 2 sticks, 2 iron ingots. How to teach it how to make sticks and wood planks. I mean, as long as you can teach your system, excuse me, how to do something, if you can do it in the real world, you can do it in here. Like, I've taught it how to make 4 oak wood planks, 2 sticks or 4 sticks. And then I taught it how to put together the iron hammer. Anything that actually is crafted will go in here. In this case, over here, this is going to be the finished product. Once it's done breaking down all your ores down to the pulverized, I've taught it how to make the dust. Again, you'll need a second one because you will have 1 ore left over, but like in my case, I have silver being made in this one, platinum in this, whereas this one's making nickel or ferrous ore, and this one's making silver, because the silver was the last ore that I actually fed into my system. But I do need one machine just to make that extra, so I went ahead and did that. Just ignore the other machines for now. And so over here, whoa, all I have this machine doing is making sand. You will need a lot of sand, especially if you have a lot of resources already put up into barrels like I did. I have it set up pretty much on one side, constantly feeding it sand. So I have the import for this block, which is green over here on the side, and purple up on top. And again, the top import, which I'm using export bus, don't get that confused. I'm exporting from the system into this machine, so it's going to automatically craft the dust and put it in here. It will cycle through all of them in time. Once it runs out, it'll go to the next one and the next one. And then over here I have an import bus, just a basic one, to bring it, whatever's made in here, back into my system. So let's take a look here. This is just a small amount of the ingots I have. I had so much that I actually had to make a chest and teach my system how to automatically make the blocks. Again, precision export bus. I'm taking it from the system and putting the blocks in here. All I have to do is take a block. Like, let's take a ferrous block. I just have to put it in here, make sure I turn it on, which is 2 clicks, and as you can see, it's automatically making the blocks. And let's see, shiny, nope. Here it is, ferrous. As you can see, it's going down, automatically making my blocks, putting them in there for safekeeping. And when I'm done, I just put it all back in there, organize, and there you go. Um, the Tinker's Construct blocks I already had made in my smeltery before I brought it into thermal expansion. That's one thing with the system is, say you want to make ingots, you have to, make sure, it's either Tinker's or thermal expansion so you can use them in your recipes. Uh, I mean, I went ahead, okay, I still got my 1Ks, which are small, but I can make the 64Ks automatically. When you do that, you got to make sure you have a ton of redstone. It's insane. I had almost 2,000 before I started making like 4 of them, 5 of them, I think. I'm only down to 500. My wireless access point, I've got it full boost so I can access my inventory almost anywhere. And there's one pattern encoder. I've got another one down here for when I was working on getting all my automatic smeltery set up, as well as a few other things. Let me show you. When I was making my processors and all that, I've got it put so my processors automatically come into the furnace, or excuse me, my processor assemblies automatically get put into a redstone furnace to become processors. And I can access that from any inventory menu. All these I can craft wherever I want. That's another thing, is you need to make sure that you have the full recipe in your system set up to where if you want an electrum ingot, you just click it and it'll automatically make it, put it in your system. Um, Eventually, once you got everything set up, you won't even need a crafting bench. You can actually just say hit your wireless access terminal and craft it up. So, like in this one, I've taught it how to make a rubber bar. You put the raw rubber into this machine, it turns it into a rubber bar. Let me take this. I want to show you guys how this works. So, you're telling it this is what you put in and this is your outcome. Regardless of exactly what you need to do, this is going to be the outcome. So you can even put, like I have a way to make anything with resonant ender, like a tesseract, I can make at will. I have this one set up to just automatically put ender pearls into a magma crucible. Again, I'm using a portable tank as a buffer, which feeds right into here. So in here, I also have taught my system how to make a bucket. All right. So like I said, I've taught my system how to make a bucket, and it told it if you put a bucket in here, you'll get a resonant ender bucket. Again, that's also how I've got my system to make enderium as well. So I can make enderium on command, a bunch of things. Now, when you're making something like enderium, or let's go with, yeah, enderium. Again, you have to make sure you're using the right ingot that your system produces. So let's go back over here. That's my rubber bar. So I'm telling it to take a thermal expansion tin to make the thermal expansion pulverized tin. Um, and that's going to make a big difference, especially with some of these items, like Yellorium, for instance. Nope. When we look at it, the recipe to make the Yellorium dust, it requires the thermal expansion tin and sulfur. Sulfur, I've taught my system how to make as long as there's blaze rods. That one's a little more interesting because it's a percent chance, not a guaranteed drop. So let's look at sulfur here. Uh, because it's a 50% chance, I told my system to put 2 blaze rods and I should get 1 sulfur. I may get 2 sulfur, but the system's only looking for that 1. So that's how I've got my sulfur when I need it to be put into the pulverizer. Again, comes out the side and down back into the system. I need to eat some potatoes. So yeah, if you guys want an automatic system, I think this is one of the better ways. I haven't seen any others that use autonomous activators to do everything. And yes, you can use the precision export buses to automatically keep renewing your iron hammers. And since I get a ton of iron, that's no big deal. And then just keep breaking it down till you can smelt it, and then put it in your ME system, so you can easily access it anywhere, or at least when you're at your terminal. And yeah, as you see, everything that I was getting, diamonds, supposedly now you can get Yellorium from sand by sieving it. Yeah. Yeah, see, I have a 2% chance of getting Yellorium from just sand. Since I have an auto sand making machine, I've just been using both of my pulverizers over in this system, which I may move in time. Excuse me. I may move this entire system right here, including the witch water production, compacted a little more, and put it down below somewhere so I can use this space for something else. In another episode, I may have a way that I can input safari balls and take them out on command. That's something I'm going to be working on off camera. And I've gone ahead and put a system in for this. I've got 4 64K storages running it. So yeah, I've done more than just 5. And just right now picking up all the items. I can probably take that out. This is where I was putting all my barrels that I had right here. I put them right there, have them just automatically suck into this separate system from the one that's in my tree. Oh yeah, haven't worked on it too much lately, but I'm starting to get branches up and all that, make it nice and pretty. And I think what I'm going to do is on top of that, make the actual tree part my home, and then on top of it, put my Thaumcraft Blood Magic area, which I also have another idea for Blood Magic. Been looking into it, but we'll get to that later in another episode. Um, I am using more energy now. About 800 RF a tick. I'm still only running at 80%. And then I've got rubber back up here. I did have grass, or not grass, but wheat for seeds. Uh, I'll actually build me a completely separate machine for wheat and make a bigger farm because I know I'll need to grind a lot of food. And yes, there it is. Here's my bees. Uh, I'm not going to get into that right now because I can spend a little while on that. I've been just working my way to get up to the Imperials and Industrials. I've done nothing new over here. I've worked on the root system. Give you kind of a little closer look at that. This is one of my favorite ones right here. It goes right over the water. I'll clean this area up a little more too. Maybe put like a little garden, a random flower garden here. But yeah, that is my completely automated. Ooh, I got a diamond. Uh, ore processing system, as well as a little look at what I've been up to otherwise. I have been running my reactor at full at times to get some work on my nether ore situation. Uh, but yeah, I mean, like I said, this can get compacted down quite a bit more. Uh, I could probably use a quarter of the space, but since I've got nothing down here right now, I'm kind of just giving everything its own space to do what it wants. Might slow the system down a little bit, but I'm not too worried. This kind of just runs in the background and does, like I said, everything for me. Builds up my ores, so I don't have to. Oh, and I got a ton of rich slag here, which can be used in quite a number of things. But yeah, it can. Oh yeah, lost my train of thought there for half a second. Uh, Rich slag, can be used for a couple things. Let's bring back that. I think primarily as a fertilizer. Well, yeah, it can also be used instead of sand and increase your yield by 1. So you get 3 instead of 2. Yeah. So I think that'll be it for right now. Next episode, I really plan to get into the bees with you guys, show you what I've done, how I've done it, uh, and that's where another good portion of my redstone and glowstone dust went. But we'll get into that on the next episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.
Yeah.